Welcome to the Look Good Move Well podcast.
Did I tell you about my new toothbrush I got?
No.
The Pheno toothbrush?
Oh, tell me, because you're always into intensive dental care. I feel like you're sort of an expert on
Well, what's crazy is that, okay, I had an idea years ago where I was like, why hasn't somebody made this device? It's like you take this toothbrush and you just run it all over your teeth, right? I got the electric one, so I'm like zzz, all around, like trying to hit all the surfaces. I'm like, why doesn't somebody just make like a mouthpiece that you put in and it's got bristles all over it and it just like vibrates and just does the thing, just like cleans every tooth simultaneously, the whole mouth. Uh-huh. It's like, that makes sense, right? Like, why would you individually?
I don't know if that makes sense, actually.
Well, okay. Like with the Sonicare.
Like a car wash?
Kind of, yeah. Like, okay, a Sonicare toothbrush or any of the, you know that you're not supposed to brush like back and forth. No, it does the brushing. It does the brushing. You just place the thing on the tooth and it does it.
Yes.
So why not have, how many teeth do we have? Like whatever, 40 something?
I don't know. Because you need to breathe?
Yeah, you have a nose for that.
No.
Yes, nasal. When you're brushing your teeth, are you actively breathing in and out of your mouth? No, you're not.
Yes.
Get a toothbrush up here, Nate. We need to test this out. That's not true. Have you ever gotten impressions taken of your mouth? You just like got to close your mouth on the impressions thing?
Okay, yes, actually, yes.
Okay, so my idea was decent, okay?
Okay.
Decent enough that somebody actually made the product.
Wow.
It is it's a mouthpiece with bristles, and you put it in, it goes, and you're done in 20 seconds.
But the thing that I'm interested in is like the flaw of the Sonicare is it's really hard to kind of get in those back corners. That's always the trouble spot because you have to kind of really work around your nooks and crannies to like get the brush at the right angle to hit the back corners. Like, oh, Nate has a toothbrush.
Yeah, that's not mine. I have, but that's cool. It's cool. We're good.
But does this
Nate.
like get all the angles of the back teeth? Because it doesn't have everyone has slightly different configurations of, do you have wisdom teeth or all that?
It's true.
Yeah.
That's why I'm actually testing it out right now.
Okay, well, let me know what your next dental checkup says.
Yeah. I will let you know.
My kids and I were laughing the other day because they had to go to the dentist and we were laughing about how like no matter what you're doing, they tell you it's wrong.
Totally. Hey, I just want to let you know you should like, just floss more.
Right. And then they're always like, do you floss? And then you're like, yeah. And they're like, let's see it. And then you show them and they're like, bad technique. That's wrong.
No, it was like, I actually like, because of how much I've experienced in the dental department world, like I'm a very well-educated consumer of dental like services. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I don't mess around. If somebody says that, I'm like, explain to me exactly what you mean, because this is what I do. And every time I go and get a hygienist appointment, somebody tries to tell me that I need to do more of something. Mm-hmm. So show me exactly what I need to do more of, because my plan is this. And then like, I like said it with attitude one time and she was like, oh, no, you're doing great. Like you don't need to, I was like, yeah, backpedal now. Cause you just told me that I need to do more flossing. It's like, you just need to make sure you're flossing. I'm like, I floss twice a day. This is how I floss. Like, where am I going wrong?
I'm doing this the way you taught me last time.
I'm doing the C. I'm scraping the sides of the teeth. I'm going into the gum line. Like, what was wrong?
What more are you asking of me? Yeah.
Now, last time she just like she got done with my cleaning. She's like, look, there's no bleeding. Your gums are super healthy. Like, everything's great. Like, you're doing good. I was like, that's what's up.
Yeah.
That was before the mouthpiece toothbrush.
Yeah, we'll see how the mouthpiece affects things.
Anyhow.
Mine always wants me to do more stuff too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't buy it.
Right. Well, okay.
Okay.
Take it away, Satya.
Okay. We're talking today about 3 beliefs we have that might be a little bit different than what you may have heard about some fitness stuff.
Yeah.
Is there any particular one you want to start with?
Nope.
Nope.
I want you to pick.
All right. I'm going number one, cardio is not it for weight loss.
Cardio, I'll say it a little less gently.
Okay.
Cardio sucks for weight loss.
Okay. Great.
Yep.
We said it.
We said it. Why does it suck for weight loss?
Yeah.
Because
it burns so many calories.
It does burn so many calories. And there's a lot of people out there that have lost a lot of weight doing cardio.
Sure.
So what's wrong with that? Yeah, it's important to qualify this because something sucking doesn't mean that it's not it can't be effective and it doesn't work. Is it really achieving what people want? And are there better ways? Are there ways that, and by better, how do we define better? Like something that's going to last a long time. Actually, let me slow down here. What would be the best weight loss approach in your opinion? Not like method. I'm like, if something was really good at accomplishing weight loss, what would be some of the characteristics of that? That you say like it checks this box, it checks this box, it checks this box. Like, what are the criteria for being a good weight loss method?
Sure. I would say that it builds muscle in order to increase your basal metabolic rate.
Okay, so if it's a good weight loss method, you're going to have a certain amount of muscle, maintain a certain amount of muscle. You're gonna keep intact the lean mass on your body because the lean mass is what burns calories. So you want to maintain and if not build upon that lean mass. So that's criteria number one for it to be good.
Sure.
What's something else?
In order to support that muscle, you need to eat protein.
Okay, so a weight loss approach has to be supported, by nutritionally. Okay, that's hard to so maybe that's something that's important for the outcome we want. But in terms of like whether it's cardio, whether it's yoga, whether it's saunaing,
Sure, allows you to recover.
Okay, so for recovery, let's just say your energy can remain high. You don't feel exhausted all the time.
Yeah.
You don't feel, we use the term burned out. All right. So it's got to help preserve or build some lean mass in the process.
Yep.
It's got to leave you feeling recovered or energetic or not exhausted.
Right. And something that goes hand in hand with that is like not spiking your cravings up.
Yeah. So it doesn't, it's not something that makes you want to go out and sabotage the weight loss with food. So it doesn't spike your cravings. Okay. I would add in that like it's enjoyable, like somewhat enjoyable because you got to do it for a while, right? To see realistic, weight loss.
I was going to say like sustainable, like it's something you can kind of just get into your routine and keep doing.
Yep.
Fun, enjoyment. Yeah. So you don't get bored. And
Yeah. And that it would allow you to not just lose the weight, but keep the weight off.
Yeah.
So it's a system that like, hey, I can do this for a while and it keeps the weight off. So coming back to cardio.
Yeah.
Where does cardio check the box on any of those? Well, for some people, they find cardio fun and enjoyable. They like to get out and go run. So for them, like, okay, that works. Checks that box. And if it's fun, I suppose it's sustainable for them.
Yeah.
But that's not everybody. There's a lot of people that really dislike cardio. They dread it. They hate the idea of running.
It's painful.
Painful, right? All right. And then there's, sustainable cardio or like cardio that leaves you feeling energetic is often not very intense. So it's low intensity cardio can leave you feeling energetic, which is good, but it also is not the kind of cardio that people are generally doing. It's not the kind of cardio that burns tons of calories. That's the kind of cardio that you got to go do an hour or 90 minutes of to get a good calorie burn. So people tend to go harder than that, than the low intensity stuff. And when you go harder and harder and harder on your cardio, it can leave you feeling kind of flagged, a little like lethargic, energy down. Mm-hmm. That can definitely happen. Yeah. Hard hit classes, just cooked.
Yeah.
Also, when you cook yourself super hard with cardio, can definitely deplete like the immediate energy stores in your body. So your body's like, I got to go get some fuel. I got to go get some carbohydrates. I got to go get some energy. I'm feeling a little, so you can kind of spike some cravings. Especially since like cardio, super hard cardio, what do you also tend to do? You sweat a lot. So you can get dehydrated a little bit. You can lose some electrolytes. And then when you're dehydrated, that can be confused by your brain as like, I need some carbs. I need some sugars. So dehydration, getting confused a little bit. I don't want to get like too like fear mongering here, but like these are some realistic things that can happen when you really are just over indexing on. But then the big one is that first one is like true cardio is generally not muscle building in nature. What people are doing for cardio is not activating their their skeletal musculo system. Like there's not weight bearing, I mean, apart from running is a little bit impact. So your legs, especially like the lower leg can get some like impact training, but in terms of overall muscle building, you're not building a lot of muscle. And if you do a lot of cardio without resistance training, you can deplete your body of muscle. Like it will start to break down muscle. Why? Because what's the signal your body's getting when you do a bunch of cardio? Oh man, I have to optimize for running fast and long distances. I have to optimize for all this cardiovascular output. Well, I have all this muscle on my body. It's heavy. I don't need to carry all that muscle. If you look at like elite runners, like the most elite runners do not have a lot of muscle on their body because once your body's trying to optimize for running, and doing more and more cardio, it doesn't want to have that. So over time, doing more cardio means, losing some muscle mass, which means lowering your metabolic rate.
Yep.
Right? Because lean tissue is what burns calories. Fat doesn't burn calories. Fat mass, like your body fat, doesn't burn calories. It's pretty much just a storage depot for, energy. So if you want to burn calories at rest, you got to have lean tissue. Lean tissue is your muscle. You're not building that by doing your cardio or even your high intensity cardio or generally your cardio with 10-pound dumbbells also, or 20-pound or 30-pound dumbbells, also not really building muscle. So this idea that cardio is this like great thing for weight loss simply because it burns a lot of calories. It burns a lot of calories in the moment. And if you look at the entire week's worth of, energy expenditure, it's almost never more than about 10% of your total energy expenditure of a given week is from training, cardio, weight training, whatever you guys want to call it. Right? The vast majority of people's calories get burned at rest in their non-exercise activity thermogenesis, NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, also from something called the thermic effect of food. Eating requires digestion, requires burning some calories. So every single day, the vast majority of your calories are coming from that, and only a small portion come from the exercise. And if you really push the exercise really high, a lot of energy output, lots of high intensity cardio, it ends up turning your non-exercise activity, it lowers that. People start to not move as much because they're tired, they're fatigued. Lowering the part about having less lean muscle, now your basal metabolic rate, the calories you burn at rest, also gets a little bit lower, right? Not like by hundreds and hundreds of calories, but it gets a little bit low. Yeah. It compounds. And so next thing you know, because you pushed it super hard in the gym doing cardio, you've lowered your NEAT, you've lowered your BMR, your basal metabolic rate, and they've almost canceled each other out. Plus, you're weaker because you're not lifting as much strength. But really, more importantly, you do these high intensity things and your cravings can escalate And then you start to reach for foods because you're like, man, I work so hard, I deserve to have this, or I'm just like, I'm really hungry. And then those excess calories just negate whatever that you consumed, negate whatever you burned in the cardio session. So again, it didn't check all the boxes. It's not the most effective way to lose weight or to lose body fat.
Yep.
Can it be done? Absolutely. Can it be done as the sole focus for long periods of time and years and years and years? It almost never is for most people. People who maintain good body composition and good weight for many, many years generally have some combination of like resistance training, good diet, and cardio in their plan. And it is never the first place that we start with our coaching clients.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything we missed in there?
I think that's pretty comprehensive. All right. Should we do number 2?
Let's do number 2.
Almost any workout program can work if you train correctly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Just about any program can work if you train correctly. I was just talking about that with our team this morning.
Yeah.
It's like, if I've done a lot of different training. I've probably in the last 3 years, I've mostly done my own training programs, persist programs, but I have done other programs. I've done many different programs in the last 2 to 3 years. And I have made every single one of them work. And if this is like, I'm speaking to the listener right now, if you knew what I know about training, then the last 10 programs that you've done, you would have seen success on. Now, there are some programs where all things created equal. You take somebody with, there's called like training IQ. Like,
yeah.
What is your knowledge? What is your like understanding of training? Let's just take somebody who's a 5 out of 10. Someone right in the middle. They're not an expert, but they're not a beginner. They know some. Okay. There are some programs where it's going to be easier for that person at that training IQ to train really well. And there are some programs where it's going to be very hard for them with their level of understanding to train very well.
Yeah.
And why is that? Well, because some programs, how they're structured, the order of exercises, the complexity or the simplicity of the progressions, the tempos, the presence of tempo versus the absence of tempo, how well the warm-ups are structured.
Or if there is a
warm-up. Somebody who has a training IQ of 5 out of 10 comes in, there's no warm-up listed in the training program, and they see the first thing on the page is bench press, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So they go and jump right into it. And by the third set, they tweak their shoulder and they're like, man. And like in hindsight, they're like, I should have warmed up. Like I didn't know to warm up. Like I didn't know what to do. Had they come in and there was a program that just laid it out very specifically and got them warmed up and prepared, they would have worked their way into their working sets and they would have gotten to the set of 3 and they would have felt loose and they would have done better warm up, ramp up sets for that. And then they would have been fine. Yeah. Right. So even with the most perfectly designed program versus the like very rudimentary program, at some point with your training IQ, if you know how to train correctly, you know how to fill in the gaps. You know how to approach each thing. You know what it's supposed to feel like. You know when you've given great effort on a set and when you've just done a warm-up set or a RP of 5 out of 10 and that didn't really move the needle very much. You know that when the exercise says knee over toe split squat, you know how that looks and feels when it's executed correctly. You know that when it's a barbell back squat for your body, if you don't put heel lifts or plates underneath your heels, that you're going to squat in a position that's not optimal for your back, and that you need to get some heel lifts so that you can get more vertical on your squat and you can take pressure off your low back and you can actually feel it in your legs and your hips. These are things that are not about the program. They are about your knowledge of how to execute programs. And once upon a time, I used to do a lot of work to try and make sure every one of those little steps was there for a client so that they didn't have to think. They could just go and do the work and then and it didn't matter how focused I was and how much I thought about every potential possible detail that they would need. They would always have something that they had to navigate on their own. Mm-hmm. And the ones that knew a lot did it well, and the ones that didn't would become the thing that kept them from succeeding, is that one thing that they couldn't think through themselves. And so that is really where this comes from. It's like, you can be successful in any program, or you can fail with any program. It doesn't matter how perfectly written and detailed it is. So your job is to come into the gym every day, learn something new about training, and then put it in your, toolbox of training knowledge, elevate your training IQ, become a 10 out of 10 on training IQ, or a 9 out of 10, or an 8 out of 10. And once you get to that level, then you start to have the tools for the rest of your life that are going to allow you to approach any program, any resistance training through any phase that you're going through, and be successful and get what you want out of it and feel good.
Yeah. And I loved what you said earlier this morning in our meeting, which was that there's no lack of information and there's no lack of programs out there. And you can keep searching forever and find all kinds of programs that, you like, that work for you, that seem cool, that seem fun. But knowing how to execute them is really the missing piece about whether it's actually going to work for you or not.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. Execution is something that you can actually be like, you can actually learn how to execute programs better. There is no such thing as a perfect program.
Yeah.
Like, you will never arrive at a perfect program. But you can arrive very close to like perfect execution of programs or of training.
Yep.
And, when you've gotten to the point where training is purely like, the only way to improve training is psychological, not from like a mechanics and how you actually do it. Like, that's where people should strive to arrive at. Like, when you show up and it's like, the only thing that's going to keep me from having the best workout possible is like my own, like what's in between my ears, like the doubt, the fear, the like this is where, I think it's like, then you have, it's not like my technique wasn't off. It wasn't because like I didn't know how to do this, or I didn't put the right weight on, or I didn't, it's more just like, I know that I got to get underneath that heavy bar, and I got to just pull it.
Do this thing.
I got to do it. It looks hard. Yeah.
All right. Last one.
Yeah.
One that we've said before, but that bears repeating. Carbs are not the enemy.
They sure aren't.
No. Carbs are my BFF.
Yeah. Yeah. This is just one that like, I still am, something that is clear to me in this work that we've been doing for a long time together is that a lesson that maybe I learned 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago, whatever, that when I was learning it, I was talking a lot about it. And then it was like, okay, good. I've like beat this one down. Like everyone's heard what I had to say about this. So I could just move on and like, what's next and what's next and what's next. The reality is that most people listening to what we have to say, or who see what we do on social media or end up on our newsletter, like they didn't know anything I said 5 years ago. They have no clue as to what the last idea that I had in 2022 was. Like, it's just a mystery to them. And so it bears repeating these things over and over and over again. And this one might be one that has to be repeated for a long time.
A lot of people are still confused about it.
Yeah. And I think I was really confused about it up until like, even just like a few years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe like 3-4 years ago. You can be like, you can have knowledge about something, but you haven't fully implemented it and like experienced it in your life to really like, oh, now I know this is like BS.
I was going to say too, because you can say that to someone, but they have been so conditioned by the fear messaging around carbs that it probably takes many times for us to make this point for someone to actually be like, like maybe I'm going to investigate this. And then even more time for them to prove to themselves what the difference might be.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is kind of a separate like question thought that goes along with this idea that carbs are not the enemy, or there's still too much fear of carbohydrates. But with nutrition, for most people, I think the goal is, how can I eat within my calorie limits and hit my protein with as little effort and friction as possible?
Right.
And as much enjoyment.
Yes.
Like, how can I get peak enjoyment, minimal effort, and nail my protein and calories every day so that I look and feel and can perform the way I want to? What's the recipe?
Yeah.
You know? And like, whoever can solve that wins the game, like by far, you know? And to my knowledge, no one's got that figured out. It's like, to hit your calories and protein and stay within your limits with the food culture and the types of foods that we have out there, you have to exercise some restraint, which means you can't get peak enjoyment. I cannot have peak enjoyment of food every single day and have the other thing. Because peak enjoyment for food every single day probably for me would look like, donuts for breakfast, you know, or like
Starburst all day long.
Starburst anytime I have like, you know, instead of drinking water, I would just be eating Starburst and Skittles. You know, I'd
have like 3 lattes every day.
Yeah.
With whole milk.
Yes. Or no, with like half and half for heavy cream or something like that. Yeah. I would probably eat like barbecue like nightly, like brisket and ribs, like that would be peak enjoyment. But then it would be pretty darn impossible for me to hit my calorie goals.
Yep.
Maybe protein I might still be able to get, but who knows?
It depends on how much barbecue.
Right, exactly.
How much meat sweats you're down for every night.
Yes. And of course, like peak enjoyment, like that would require like almost no effort. It's just like, I just like that. I just DoorDash, right? So if that's really what people are, what we're striving for, it's like, I want to enjoy myself. I don't want to have to think too much about it. And I want to hit these numbers that are going to ultimately give me the body and the shape and the health that I want.
Yep.
What's the recipe? Well, you know, saying that carbs, like basically saying like, I'm just going to remove carbs. That was kind of like an easy, like in the moment, it's like, oh, that's just simple.
It sounds easy.
It sounds easy and it sounds simple. And with as much as people vilified carbs as like the ultimate enemy, that if you just remove carbs, everything fixes itself.
Yeah.
It became so clear, like, oh, well, that's the strategy I should use. And yeah, like in the short term, most people can go for a few weeks, maybe even a few months without carbs and not be like devastated, especially when someone sells them the idea that like, oh, you're going to get to eat as much of the bacon.
Eat all the bacon and avocados.
Yeah, and all these other things that like, they're like, well, those are delicious. Like I'll skip
have
bread.
Some butter and cheese.
I'll skip bread if I can have more cheese and bacon.
Right.
That was like the ultimate sell.
That was like the paleo.
The paleo sell. It's like, you know, just cut out grains, but you're going to get all this bacon. And yeah, so it's understandable why, one, they've been vilified, because there was this whole idea that like carbs sugar, insulin. All these overweight people are type 2 diabetic. They don't do the insulin well.
Yeah.
So they can't handle it. You've had too much sugar.
Yeah.
Oh, if we just get rid of the sugar, it fixes all this stuff. Look, when these people remove sugar, they lost all this weight, and then it fixed all these other things. Like they're not as insulin, resistant anymore. Must have been the sugar.
Yeah.
Must have been the carbs.
Must have been the carbs.
And then people like actually did studies on it, and they're like, yeah, it's not the carbs. It's just calories. Oh, if you just do it this way, like if you just cut carbs out versus just cut calories, and you do the same number of calories, people have the same improvements in health markers, so long as protein is kept the same. And as a matter of fact, if you stretch it out long enough, the people that eat more carbohydrates actually have some improved health markers as compared to the people that went, absolutely keto or carnivore. So it's like kind of debunked. It's been debunked, right? Carbs are not the enemy. But I said all that at the beginning to just be like, it makes sense why. And it's like, oh, I'll just cut carbs versus like, oh, I got to just like count my macros and my calories. Like, well, which seems like a harder thing to do? It's like, oh, just cut out a food group. That seems easier for me to process in my brain. Mm-hmm. But it's like, for how long can you cut out carbs? Because eventually you're going to bring them back in. And then we're right back where we started, which is you want to enjoy yourself. You want it to be easy, but you also got to hit your numbers, and you don't have any idea what your numbers look like. So we got to learn what that looks like. You got to learn some structure. And it's the same thing with every diet fad, is just trying to solve that problem. It's like intermittent fast. Cool. If I just skip a meal, then I still get to enjoy the other two. Mm-hmm. I still get to, it's still relatively simple because in the morning I wake up, I have a cup of coffee. I'm not hungry. I kind of suppress my appetite. No big deal. And it helps me hit my numbers. Great. Fast forward 3 months, figure out ways around it. It's not working. Overeating in the evening, not losing weight, weight's coming back on. Oh man, it's not working anymore. I got to try a new thing. Mm-hmm. So yeah. And why carbs are not the enemy? Because ultimately the equation that we're really working on here is like the numbers, right? It's like getting enough protein, like staying within your calorie balance. Well, what do carbs do? Carbohydrates, when in the diet, allow active people to be more active and move with more purpose and intensity.
Yeah.
Which is ultimately going to raise the amount of energy that you're expending. It's also going to help you build more muscle tissue and strength and functional stuff that raises your metabolic rate. So like carbs are an energy boost. They're an intensity boost. They're also a recovery boost. They make people sleep better and feel better generally. And of course, that's when they're not eaten in massive excess. But usually when people are eating carbs in excess, they're also eating a lot of fat in excess and just general calories in excess. So think about any baked good that's out there, apart from maybe just plain old bread, but like any delicious pastry, any delicious thing that you're eating that you're like, oh, this is so much carb. It's like, well, there's also a ton of fat on whatever, in or on whatever you're talking about.
Yep.
But then the other part of like the carbohydrate is like, not only do they provide you with a lot of, energy for intense, but if you're eating single ingredient whole foods, you're eating like white potatoes, or you're eating, fruit or beans, or any of the foods that is even oatmeal. Like these foods that are carbohydrates also have a fair amount of fiber in them, and they're also they digest at a rate that helps keep people feeling full.
Yeah,
they have high satiety. They're high on the satiety index charts, which is kind of like, most people be like, oh, as soon as I eat a carb, I want to eat a bunch more carbs. It's like, well, not all carbs are created equal like that.
Yeah.
If you have a boiled white potato that you take out of the pot, you put it in the fridge overnight, you pull it out the next day, and you mash that up with some, vegetables and meat, boiled, cooled, and then eaten the next day, potatoes are the highest satiety index food like on the planet. They are extremely filling, and that's proven both in the laboratory and in, human experiments. So that type of carb is very satiating. Whereas a donut, which you think is like, oh, it's just so much carb. It's also a fair amount of fat too. But like, yeah, that you could eat a donut and then 10 minutes later want 5 more donuts. Like they're not on the same playing field. So don't just categorize all. And it's the same thing with like protein. Like people are like, oh, protein's so satiating. It's like, well, eat an 8-ounce chicken breast for sure. Go get like the little Jack's Links, like jerky bites, right? Like that are coated in sugar and have a lot of fat in them and that are salted and like flavored with like the honey Dijon. I don't know. Yeah. It's like have a few of those. Like I promise you're going to go back and want to eat more of those. Like that protein's not that satiating because it's like engineered to make you want to have more of it, right? Like you can't, like I can never fill up on that. I could eat plates of that stuff, and the same thing goes for like fat. So not all macronutrients are created equal when it comes to making you feel full. Carbs for sure, by the numbers, by the data, by the science, they hold 9 of the 10 top spots on the satiety index, charts. So they are satiating. They do provide you energy. And this is why you're not going to see me do another reel where I say, cut out all the carbs.
Exactly.
I won't say that.
Nope, me neither.
At least not this year.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we hit our 3.
Okay.
And did we miss anything?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, we only took 36 minutes. Nice job. All right. Well, we knocked it out. Podcast locked in for January.
Okay.
We'll see you guys soon.
All right. See you next time.